Ladies and gentlemen, we are live coming to you from the internet. Introducing first, with a professional record of a 5-star rating and the future winners of the Fight Pick Championship, Ricky Reed, Buddy Harlow, the MMA MARKS podcast. What's up, everybody? How you doing? MMA MARKS. Two guys who love to mark out on all things MMA. And as usual, I'm right here with my buddy, and we have the awesome pleasure this week of chatting with the best guy in podcasting right now. It's Juice from Fighting With Myself podcast. You can catch his stuff on Apple Podcasting, Stitcher, Spotify, especially Anchor. Check him out for all things MMA along with us. And he's always on with the MMA Twitter. He's got that on lock. I know he kind of been back and forth, but hey, either way, whatever. Let's get down into it. What's up, Juice? How you doing, man?
All I do is win, no matter what. The champ is here.
The champ is here for now.
Congratulations.
Now champ is here. Obviously, I did win last week's Fight Pick Championship. And at the current standings, I am tied for first. But I am tied along with Buddy. So we good on that.
It's a three-way tie. It's Alpha with Winning Federation too.
Yes,
I'll leave that bastard alone.
That guy's the shit. I don't know if he listens to my show, but I know he listens to your show. So what's up, Alpha?
Now look,
That belt will be mine, by the way.
you got 60 points this week that just passed. I only got 5. That's the only reason why you caught up. Only reason.
Well,
That's like saying the only reason I'm not first is because my picks suck.
and that would have been much better than I thought anyway. So I'm just fucking, hey, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm like, I'm just chilling.
All right. He's way too confident.
Oh, yeah. Somebody needs to knock
I'm
him
looking over
down.
y'all's podcast. No, I'm just
Oh, shit.
All right, so
All right, let's jump right into this recap of UFC ESPN 6 with Chris Weidman taking on Dominic Reyes. Let's start at the bottom. Do you want to just run through the main card, or you want to go prelims too? It's up to you. You're the guest.
I'll be real honest. I missed some of those prelims, but I did watch a lot of them. So we can talk whatever. We can talk about y'all spoiling the Molly McCann fight for me. How Buddy said Molly McCann sucked, which is a damn lie. I rewatched
It is a damn lie.
and she was awesome.
look,
But, yeah, we can
Wasn't that
actually
awesome?
talk about. No, let's talk about from the first fight because now I'm remembering I did rewatch everything. That fucking
Okay.
Daniel Spitz fight versus the mullet guy. That was heavyweight fights are always not that good, unless there's a knockout. You're always wanting a knockout in a heavyweight fight.
Right.
But I kept wanting that fight. Like I kept wanting something else to happen, and I was just like, this isn't doing it for me. But what's the name with the mullet got it done?
Yeah.
Boozer.
Tanner Boozer or Bozer.
Boozer.
Yeah. He took the decision.
Watch you listen to the podcast and be like, who is this disrespectful motherfucker? But, no, I thought it was cool.
Hey, we keep it all 100
Hey, look.
around here.
I thought the fight kind of sucked. I was just waiting for Spitz to get knocked the fuck out.
And I had Spitz. That's what I
but
thought he was the better
I
fighter.
wasn't digging the way he fought.
The
Yeah.
first time I ever saw Daniel Spitz fight, his nickname is Daddy Longlegs, and I was literally watching it with my sister at her apartment in LA. This is when I still lived in LA, and because it was actually the card that whenever Luke Rockhold fought David Branch, they were the headliner, and Daniel Spitz comes out and is like his nickname is Daddy Longlegs, and my fucking sister is like, oh yeah, he a daddy, and I was like, Crystal, shut the fuck up. Whenever this motherfucker fights, I'm always like, God damn it. I always hear my sister's voice in the back of my head.
So, yeah, that fight wasn't all that to me, but the next fight was awesome to me.
Brendan
that
Allen
was,
is Kevin Holland? Is that
Kevin
the
Holland, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Brendan Allen came after me on Twitter.
Shut
Really?
the fuck up.
Yeah, dude. It's because he trains at Rufus Sport, and so does Macy Barber now. And we'll get to Macy Barber later. But I'm not a fan of hers. I'm not a fan of her interviews. I picked her correctly, which is part of why I'm winning this week. But I'm not a fan of her interviews. And I ended my little tweet with the word trash, which was meant to say that she's like a trash human because I feel like she's a bully. And then Brendan Allen responds, "Oh, you got people that don't even fight calling her trash." Shaking my head. He did that fucking SMH or whatever. And I was just like, he goes, "Y'all need help." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I do need help, Brendan Allen." Which, by the way,
Allen.
I said on my
Brendan
show as well, his nickname is All In. And I was like, no, his nickname should be Just a Tip.
Oh, fuck him. That's Brendan Ellen DeGeneres.
That's fucking right.
But,
Brendan Allen.
All jokes aside and all jokes aside, I thought he fought well, and I was excited for his debut. He called a rematch with Eric Anders, which I guess is from LFA, and I'm down for that fight. I guess Anders accepted.
Yeah, that'd be a nice fight to check out.
What we got next?
All right, next we had the Court McGee versus Sean Brady fight. What you think about that?
Okay, so this is something that I was very torn on. Like I couldn't even focus when I was watching the fight because you guys were telling me I was like asking for updates when I couldn't watch the fights, and we were on the Snapchat, and you guys were like, "Oh, Court McGee's getting fucking lit up or whatever." Like he keeps getting hit with the 1-2, and I thought for some reason it was like a total domination. And then I go on Twitter, and my boy Phil, the MMA dude. He tweeted out like right before they announced the decision. He goes, "The judges maybe not will get this wrong, but Court McGee should be winning this." So I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Y'all were telling me he's getting lit up." And then the other thing that was crazy was like his back tattoo. He had that like Chinese demon or whatever on his back. I feel like half of Twitter was saying it looked good, and half of Twitter saying it looked horrible. So the whole time I was watching the fight, I was just trying to decide how I felt about the tattoo because I was like, I don't know how I feel about this tattoo either. But I guess it was a decent fight. Sean Brady had is Sean Brady? Yeah. He had a good debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, I think that he did well against Court McGee.
He looked better in court. He looked way better in court.
Yeah. I think it was pretty close, but I didn't hate him winning. I think he probably deserved to win.
Yeah, we got
next we got
the death of Solomon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Salmon.
I always call him Solomon. I don't know why.
Dude, Boston Salmon. That's a wrap on Boston Salmon, y'all. I mean, that's a wrap on him. Didn't he get knocked out like 30 seconds in his other debut? Listening to the MMA Roasted podcast with Adam Hunter, and I guess that guy used to do. I guess he trains at Extreme Couture in Vegas, and he does valet at the Palms, and he comes up to Adam Hunter, like gives him his keys, and he's like, "Don't worry, you're Adam Roasted, right? Or you're Adam Hunter, you're MMA Roasted, right? You're gonna be roasting me one day. My name's Boston Salmon." And then I'm like, "All right, now you can knock the fuck out." But to be fair, Randy Costa is legit as well. I thought his fight with Brendan Davis last time was a banger, and the fact that he carries around that little picture of his teammate, who's actually Joe Lozon's teammate too, I thought that's really cool.
Yeah.
Didn't he just pass away?
Yeah, I guess like 2 years ago in a car crash, and they were saying, he's the kind of guy that the kind of fighter he was. Like he would have been making his debut on this card probably. Like he would have been fighting with them, and so it was all bittersweet for them.
Right, that's sad.
So damn good.
All right, well, so Randy Costa takes a knockout win in round one, pretty much.
No, definitely.
So just to recap real quick, so Brady took the decision on Court McGee, Bozer took the decision on Spitz, and Brendan Allen took the submission victory on Kevin Holland in round two.
Yep.
And fuck Brendan. Brendan can go suck a dick.
Yeah, so then
now
Sean
Woodson
and Kyle
I like him a lot, dude. I like Woodson.
He's gonna be a name to watch in that division, I feel like he looked like for some reason twice the size of Kyle Bochniak though.
Yeah.
It's like, how does this motherfucker even make 145?
He was all legs, son.
Yeah, he was all arms.
Yeah.
Like stretched out.
It was
he's an ugly motherfucker.
And what's it kind of reminds me of like a gray alien that got a tan.
You know, they always say like, oh, like that's that saying like, oh, mixed babies are like the cutest babies. That motherfucker got the worst parts of all the mixed, whatever he's mixed with.
Oh my God.
Like, dude, what are you?
You are such a hater.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying what I see.
I'm a hater. I'll admit it.
That's
And I'm
funny.
a mix, so I don't give a
Hey,
shit.
he can fight though. He might not be a model like Luke, your favorite.
No, don't fucking call my favorite. I will die on that hill. Luke Rockhold is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's retired now.
Yeah.
He says he don't want to fight no more.
I was telling people that's why I was going hard on Macy Barber. I was like, now that Luke Rockhold is retiring, I gotta focus that hate somewhere else.
That's right.
I got so much hate.
With Sean Woodson though, what's up with the circling of the hands?
Oh, dude, I was loving that shit.
Where he's just doing the circles with
Like,
his hands,
like Shane McMahon back in the day.
He's trying to do like the ollie shuffle without the shuffle.
I think I was listening to probably the Believe You Me podcast with Bisping. I think they were calling it like a herky jerky style. I was like, yeah, he looks like he's just fucking playing with him. That reminds me actually was it's one of those things when you do ridiculous shit like that, like kind of like Michael Venom Page. When you do ridiculous shit like that and you win, you look gangster. Like I remember I was playing basketball in middle school one time, and I was playing with this black guy, and he was dribbling the ball, and I was playing defense, and then all of a sudden he like lets go of it and starts skipping, and he goes, "Skip to my Lou," and he's like fucking with me, right? And I look at the ball, I'm like, he's not defending the ball, I'm gonna grab the ball, and I like lunge for it, and he real quick snatches it and then makes a basket, and I was just like, no.
You got M Wood, son, and he called it on you. He said, "Skip to my Lou and all."
Yeah, I got
You gotta sit down on the bleachers after that, son.
And mixtapes.
That earns you a teabag too. He should have teabagged you right there.
Yeah. He's like,
Hello.
like, oh.
Yeah. All right, moving over real quick. We got Meatball Molly McCann taking on
Diana Belbita.
Velveeta.
Yeah.
He's like Romanian, and then I go on her Twitter, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm in Canada," and I guess I don't know if she's Canadian or she just moved to Canada, but that was a hell of a fight. But he was saying that Molly McCann sucks, and I'm like, how does she suck? And she got a 30-27, and in the second round, she almost finished her. Dude, they could have finished her. And here's what else I want to talk about, dude. I already talked about this on my show, but fuck it. Y'all listeners need to hear this too. That ref, Brian Miner, we need to give him a fucking trophy, dude. That point deduction when Diana was grabbing the cage, and he goes,
That was big.
That's it. Point deduction. You're fucking out. We need more of that.
He gave her he gave her a warning, though. He said, "Stop grabbing the cage."
Right.
And then she grabbed the second time, and that was it. It was like, nope, point.
Fuck it. Let him bang, bro.
I feel like that's exactly the way to handle this situation, because you got to give at least a little bit of a warning, because you can't just kind of take a point out of nowhere. But when these refs like separate him and be like, "I'm gonna give you a warning," like you sound like a cop that like pulled you over and is like, "Well, I'll let you off this time." It's like you broke the law and you know it, or whatever. You fucking this whatever foul, this grabbing the cage, you know that shit is not allowed. Your warning is in the back when they go over the rules in the rules meeting. That's it.
We've had this discussion many times.
And you know what? I'm not with you on that. I'm not. I think because of the gravity of the situation, when you get taken off your balance, you grab for whatever it is. It's very hard to turn that reflex off to not grab the cage. So I think you need a warning when you grab the cage once. And after that point.
Well, here's the thing, dude. And I see your point. It's very valid, and you're right. But I after how many pro fights, like, and I guess my point is not just for fence grabbing; it's for all fouls. So,
Okay.
So that's my stance on it. I'm just kind of trying to apply it to all situations. But the fence grabbing, like, yes, it's your natural reflex, but you got to turn that shit off. Actually, to that point, Luke Thomas was making a point about Demetrius Johnson when he was going over to one championship, how their rules are different and you're allowed to do knees on the ground. And he was saying, oh, well, or people were asking, will he have to now readjust his instincts or whatever? And he was like, no, because your instincts are to knee on the ground, because that's what makes sense. you just have to turn that instinct off when you're in the UFC because of the unified rules.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're already turning off certain instincts. If your instinct is to grab the cage, like don't fucking do it.
I guess. I mean, that's when you become a professional. And I understand that argument, but
although to me also, like, to be honest, like fence grabbing is one of those things that as a rule I could do without it, like 12 to 6 elbows kind of, you know what I mean? Like
I don't know because
that makes or breaks a fight, man, because look, the next fight we got, Charles Rosa versus Manny Bermudez. Okay?
Yep.
That motherfucker cheated. Charles
With the
Rosa cheated.
cage?
Yeah. That gave him all the leverage to break that arm.
Yeah, I didn't see it, to be honest with you. I think I saw a few people talking online, and then I actually heard Joe Lozon go on Ariel's show saying that he felt like the way Manny defended it more pushed the feet into the cage, and then he said the rule is you can't use the thing to grab it, but if your toe goes through it, that's okay necessarily. So he said the ref didn't see it, so it's kind of a moot point anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he did it. He used it to his advantage. He didn't get caught, so it stands.
Right. And here's how I feel about that anyway. Someone made this point on my show in the forum that's fucking karma, dude, because Manny Bermudez missed weight, so that's what you get.
That's a hell of a fucking karma.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, dude. I don't care. It's unprofessional as shit. And he used to be a bantamweight. If you were able to make 135 at some point in your life, you can make 145. That motherfucker weighed in at 148.
I was 135 at one point in my life. That doesn't mean I'm going to be making that anytime soon.
You're 200 pounds. You making 135?
Yeah.
That's unhealthy.
Yeah, coming out of high school, bro, I was 100.
Never mind.
I was like 110 pounds.
I was 135 pounds at one point.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, me too when I was 12.
Yeah, you was already 6 foot at 12, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you tall motherfucker.
Girl, I was like 5'5" until I was 14 or so. And then over the summer between when I shot to like 5'10", and then I've been growing ever since. I've been like 6 foot.
Imagine being 5'5" right now.
Yeah, imagine being 5'5" right the fuck now.
5'5" right now, Deron Wynn.
I'm 5'5", motherfucker.
Me too.
No, it's all good.
Jesus.
We short guys.
Yeah. You know, Napoleon Complex. Represent.
Yeah, represent for the Napoleon Complex. Deron Wynn represented the Napoleon Complex too.
Yeah.
Is that a good segue? Are we even on the Deron Wynn fight? I feel like we are.
We absolutely are. That's where we're going. Now, Deron Wynn taking on Darren Stewart. So, Darren Stewart got the decision over him. And you know what? The way the announcers were announcing it, I don't know if it was because it was DC's boy, but they were talking Deron Wynn up so much that I thought Deron Wynn should have won because of all the takedowns. I don't know how you feel on the situation, but Darren Stewart pieced him up a little bit. But
yes. I also felt like Deron Wynn didn't do much with his takedowns. When I went back and rewatched it, he was using those takedowns to grab a rest, whilst Darren Stewart from the bottom was throwing elbows. He was doing work trying to escape, and that in the judge's mind was swayed. I see a case for it. If you think Deron Wynn won, that's fine. And I remember I missed like the first part of the fight, which I feel like Deron Wynn probably won the first round, and I came in sort of at the second round when Darren Stewart was like beating the shit out of him, and I was like, okay, yeah, he probably won this fight, but it was a little more close when I rewatched it, so I get that.
Yeah, so like this was another case, and I feel like this has been trending lately. You got a guy that's a lot more dangerous, and then you got a guy that is more controlling. And lately here they've been swaying towards the guy that's more controlling than the guy that's being dangerous, just because they stay in control more often. But really, I guess Deron Wynn didn't show that he was feeling like he was winning the match. He was having trouble getting him down too sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think in the case, if he would have kept him down more and just stayed more controlling, But anytime there was actually like any action, Darren Stewart pieced him up. If that was the case, I feel like they still would have gave it to. I mean, I think they would have gave Win the decision.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. Even though I feel like whoever got the most, like if somebody almost got choked out or almost got fucking knocked out, I feel like that they just lost that round.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say on my show all the time, you guys know this, I hate the 10-point must system. I think it needs to go away. I think we need to go to pride rules for the judging. We need to score the fight by a whole and not round by round.
Or take the fact that they almost were finished more in consideration than just like 4 minutes of control, but 1 minute he was getting his ass whipped.
I feel like that sometimes takes into account anyway, because like this is kind of off topic, but Darren Till versus Wonder Boy. I don't know if you guys remember that fight. The first like 4 rounds were kind of like a chess match and just like a stalemate almost. And then in the 5th round, Darren Till almost finished him. And while I was scoring the fight, I scored it 3 rounds to 2 for Wonder Boy. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a fight for Wonder Boy. But at the end of the 5th round, Darren Till was close to a finish. And I saw someone on Twitter said Wonder Boy probably won that, but look at it this way. The only round that you would bet your life that anyone won it, one way or the other, is Darren Till. And that was the 5th round. And I was like, okay, that's a fair point. So I feel like that does take into consideration.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. I think they should weigh heavier on that because I feel like they don't do it enough.
Fair enough. And we'll never know. Like, this is the problem, too, is that judges are not allowed to do interviews or anything like that. They're not allowed to put out statements. I feel like we need to hear from these fucking judges. Be like, why? Why did you score that way?
No, I don't think that. I think that we can't hear from the judges because of the bias. Like if you hear from a ref, then you like a certain ref. If you hear from a judge, you like a certain judge, or they can sway other judges. What I think should happen is that the judges should have some sort of spokesperson or representative as a whole for that card. If those 3 judges are on that card, they should have a spokesperson for why they scored a certain fight a certain way. Not necessarily that way. That gives the judges anonymity. I said that right.
Anonymity. I feel like I get where you're coming from. There's different judges for every fight. It's not like the same 3 for every card, so it's hard.
Oh, okay.
And what's it called?
You didn't fucking do that?
I didn't know that. I thought it was the same 3 judges all night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about sitting cage side the entire time, not being able to get up to fucking pee. So they got to rotate them out just like the refs. I feel like it may be like 6 different ones or so, or maybe 10, and they just kind of rotate. Everyone probably does multiple fights a night. But what I was going to say is if all of them speak up, then that bias doesn't come into play.
Yeah, that would be true.
Even if they just had the answer, like, or had to make a comment on it, like on a controversial win or something, they should at least have to, even if it's just through text, they should have to make one statement on what swayed their decision.
Absolutely.
Kind of give us an idea what they're looking at compared to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about this whole judging shit. Like you said, they need to change I think they need to revamp the whole thing.
Well, anyway,
I think it's for the birds anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So let's get into something else real quick with Macy Barber and Jillian Robertson.
Trash.
Okay.
Fuck you, Brendan. Ellen DeGeneres. All right. I got my boys back.
That same energy.
That's right. We will too.
Hey, I got my boys back.
Yes, dude. Besides being a terribly obnoxious person in interviews, Macy Barber can fucking fight. Here's the thing, though. I feel like she's kind of like Ronda Rousey in a sense where like her confidence is some of her biggest weapon, and like sometimes Ronda was just like bull rushing these girls, and that's when a technical boxer like Holly Holm was able to capitalize on it and stay composed. But I was looking at it, other than the champion Valentina Shevchenko, there's not really anyone that kind of fits that bill. So Macy's probably going to run through, except for my girl Molly McCann, she's probably going to run through most of the division on her way. She might even beat the Antonina Shevchenko, the lesser sister.
I don't think she's going to beat Antonina right off because Antonina is so long and
Yeah.
she likes the
No,
ground.
that's a good fight. I'm not saying it's a for sure thing, but it'll be close.
I'll bet on Paige if she fights Paige.
Me too.
Oh, Paige is going to get her ass beat.
Nah,
Paige will quit.
that.
Paige has got too many outside things. She'll quit.
Look, you really take all that shit in this. She's a fighter, dude. She broke her arm and kept fighting, dude. She's not just the Instagram model. Like
Beck Rawlings with a head kick. She did like a jumping switch kick.
Okay, I hear all you guys, and
but
I'll
honestly,
take it.
My whole point too with the Macy Barber thing is that Paige said she absolutely doesn't want to fight, so stop fucking asking for it. And so it's almost like not even worth talking about who would win because they shouldn't be fighting.
Either way, I'm just saying that if they were to fight, I'm picking Paige.
Yeah. Case wrestling.
All right. Hold on. Before we move on, I want to make this point. Do you think that the Macy Barber fight was stopped too soon?
Oh yeah, yes, definitely.
No. Do you think it was too soon? Okay. I want you to remember what you said, and keep that. Okay. Because
he just said no. That's it. Remember this day.
Because I feel that it was stopped a little early.
Very early.
Just a little bit. Because Robertson was defending herself. I mean, she was getting beat. That's apparent. Everybody, I'm not saying that she wasn't losing, but she was intelligently defending herself. She wasn't out on her feet. She wasn't knocked out, and she wasn't cowering away. She was still throwing punches.
I don't feel like she was actually firing back. I feel like she wasn't intelligently defending herself that well. And I do think you can make a case for it being a little early, but I always say this, I always will prefer a slightly early stoppage than a late stoppage. You know, it's so hard to make the call when you're talking about milliseconds. And when it comes to the Jillian Robertson stoppage, look at the way she didn't protest it. As soon as the ref stopped the fight, she just kind of looked the other way and was like disappointed in herself. So while she was quote unquote still there and not out on her feet, she was obviously taking a lot of damage, and you don't want to see someone take that amount of damage.
Correct. Now, do you think? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all, where is Jillian Robertson from?
She's originally from Canada, but then her family moved to Florida, and that's where she trains too at ATT.
Canada. So she's part of the nicest, they're known as the nicest people in the world. So when she's not going to argue with the ref, she's going to go with the flow. But really, honestly, the way I feel, she was not unconscious at all. She didn't even show any signs that it was even hurting her. If I can just sit there and eat punches, but I'm not out, let it keep going. Maybe you're trying to tire the person out.
Okay, I like your whole demeanor right now, and I just want to ask you one final question about this fight. Do you think that the women are judged the same as the men?
Yes, I do. I think that Aspen Ladd appeal is bullshit. Yeah. And well, I feel like I'm being fucking set up with y'all pointing to notes and stuff.
That's because he's got something brewing.
I got something brewing,
and I can feel the vibe. You know what I mean?
It is burning a hole in me bad.
But hold on, even the next fight though.
Yeah, even the next fight. Okay,
the next fight, Joe Lozon versus Jonathan Pierce. He had that boy, and it's where he could not. He literally could not defend himself.
Yeah,
and just kept on beating him, and the ref didn't stop it right away. What the fuck was all that shit? But the ref not stopped him.
Well, here's the thing: you put him in that position, and it's pretty clear almost instantly as soon as he had that half Nelson and he had the back mount that there's not much you can do from there. But you still got to give him opportunity to try and get out of it. You could shrimp. I mean, I'm not gonna sound like an expert or anything, but he could have fucking exposed himself to get out of it, and he was give it open himself up to a submission. It's so fucking dirty.
Trying to get the man in trouble.
Yeah, just a tip. No, but um, you know, and I feel like at that point the ref was talking to him like, "Hey, do something, Jonathan, do something."
Who'd you pick, by the way?
Who did I pick?
Who did you pick?
Joe Lozon, second round TKO.
A lot of people was sleeping on Lozon. I didn't know if you picked him or not.
They were because people were saying he got knocked out by Clay Guida and then Chris Gritzmacher back to back, and that it was a bad thing. But I was like, no, 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 no. He just had to take some time. He had to let his brain heal. He's fighting on home territory. Like he's got this. Joe Lozon's a fucking savage, dude, and he showed that.
They hand fed him that boy.
They hand fed him that. That was a straight can.
And I said that before. I said that on the
can at all. That guy was undefeated. I think he was. They were actually trying to the other way around. I think they were trying to build a name off of him.
The guy was not undefeated.
That guy was undefeated.
He was 7-4 or 7-3 going in. He's 7-4 now.
7-4 now. I thought he was 9-0 or something. But either way, he was a young prospect, and he was definitely someone that they wanted to bring into the UFC. I don't think that he's going to get cut after this. I mean, if he does, that sucks for him. But I think they're actually trying to build a name off of him.
Yeah. But I don't. I really
don't. I think Joe Lozon, like the hometown boy. Why would they try and build a name off of somebody that's like big in their hometown?
This was Joe Lozon's last fight.
Well,
could be.
That's it.
He kind of left the door open, and that's what I was going to say. Is especially when you hear the story that came out afterward, where Dana said, he felt like Joe Lozon promised him it would be his last fight, and then Joe Lozon said, actually, what I said was, if it goes bad, it will be my last fight. So they weren't going to give him an easy fight.
Don't be a BJ. Just walk out on top, man. That's all I'm saying. Not many people can do that.
I'm with you on that. I mean, that last fight with Joe Lozon against Chris Gritzmacher, I never want to see that shit again in my life, and I don't want to see someone, Joe Lozon fighting someone that he should have demolished like 5 years ago. Demolish him. I don't want to see that shit at all. And Joe Lozon actually has a successful gym. Several of his guys fought. And keep fighting. Calvin Kattar's fighting Zabit. He's gonna smash him.
J-Lo.
Fine. Yeah,
worst nickname history of nicknames.
Devin Powell, Randy Costa. These guys are killing it, and so Joe's doing well. And I would love to see him. If not this one, then maybe one more, which he kind of already said in his interview. He said like maybe one or two more tops. And I feel like Paul is really smart.
Yeah, he's in the twilight of his career. I mean, I'd end out on top. Why risk it anymore? I mean, you have nothing else to prove. You went out on your hometown with a win. I mean, you don't get no better than that. It really doesn't.
For sure.
Fair point.
You wanted to ride off in the sunset, but this is real world. They don't fucking MMA. We have dark fucking endings like we were talking before.
100%. It's unforgiving.
So he's gonna keep going. And he's going to get fucking beat severely and then quit.
It's like a fucking addict.
Yeah.
Next, we got my favorite fight of the night.
Holy shit.
We got Greg Hardy, the Prince of War.
You can't even say that with a straight fucking face.
That's because I know how much it pisses you guys off.
Oh my God, does it that?
Kicking me. Look, you're fucking canceled, bro.
All I'm saying is I've been
shut up, cool with, shut up, just shut up.
Come on now.
Shut up. No. You can't even say it with a straight face.
Jokes aside, look, I appreciate Greg Hardy's athleticism and I think that he is very, very smart. I think that was a fucked up thing, but before it got overturned, I'm thinking he just changed the whole fucking game. He just changed the whole fucking game, dude. And then so let me just say this though to start off though, okay?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Damn. That's something them talking about this shit, right? Listen, them talking about this shit. DC talking about, well, I want oxygen then. Why not give everybody oxygen? I would love that shit. You know how much better the fucking rounds would be? I think that we should implement that shit. Give the fucking fighters oxygen in between rounds.
Okay, fair. But just because you think that's how it should be, doesn't mean that's how it is. He broke the fucking rules, dude. And his coaches knew. He knew. He knows that you're not supposed to fucking have fucking
anything but water.
Anything but water, dude. He did his little binky to get through to the third round. He couldn't get out of the fucking second round. He had to take the little binky, little fucking inhaler, and that's it.
I like how he said it like a commercial too. He's like, USADA approved.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
They're like, is it medical? He's like, yes, USADA approved. Fucking Greg Hardy. I want him to go the fuck away. And that's why I'm so glad that we caught this news before we started recording of him fucking agreeing to fight Alexander Volkov in Russia in a few weeks. The motherfucker's tired. He might not even make weight because he's a guy that has to cut to get to 265. They said the cuts are harder. He's a fucking asthmatic. They're going to fly to Russia, and he's going to get his ass worked by a fucking karate champion in Alexander Volkov.
Yeah, but the thing is, if he beats him, he's going to look like a fucking superstar. And that's the last thing I want for fucking Greg Hardy.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
He's got to go for broke, so it's going to be a fucking very interesting match.
Now,
here's the thing. We're going to find out what he's made of because MMA is this sport where you're winning until you're not. And Alexander Volkov's last fight against Derek Lewis, he was lighting Derek Lewis up. And Derek Lewis looked like a punching bag, and then he uncorked this big overhand right and just put Volkov's lights out. And we don't know how good Greg Hardy's chin is because it hasn't really been tested, but assuming he can take those shots and get to the later rounds, and it's a 5-round fight, he could potentially land one of those bombs too. So you're right. He could possibly do something here.
Well, his opponent actually landed a few really good ones, and at one point it looked like he almost he was about to get wobbled and then just adjusted. He landed a few good ones on Hardy. Yeah, his last fight that he just fought, that he won decision, Ben Sassoli landed a few good ones. That's all I'm saying. We seen him take a few good ones.
He did. For me though, it looked like the guy was trying to overcome a reach disadvantage. So he was throwing these big winging hooks or these like overhand lefts. And he wasn't following up, and Greg Hardy was able to kind of roll with it because he was backing up. So I think we'd never seen him hit flush and take a clean shot.
So I am not a Hardy fan at all by any stretch of the word, but I will say that Hardy is a good MMA fighter. Did he get better since the first time we seen him?
Hell of a lot better.
Hell yeah.
Well, he's showing improvement, that's for sure.
The improvement, I can't deny that shit. That it's leaps and bounds. Whoever he's training with is doing him a great deal improvement on him. The other thing is with Inhaler Gate and everything, why was it okay? Why did they continue the fight? Everybody in that whole shit knew that was an illegal thing, but the commissioner. And then they let him go, finish the fight. And on top of it, they raised his hand. They didn't say it was a no contest there. They waited till it was all said and done. And then as soon as he went in the back, then they declared it a no contest. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's because the casual fan will not know that got overturned. They're not, you know what I mean? They see that fight for what it was.
Bad on ESPN.
Yeah, so I mean, that's exactly what it was. They wanted him to still have a good look.
Right.
Because they're trying to make him look good.
He's a fucking habitual line stepper.
He's oh
damn, that's what I was telling Ricky. Ricky is a habitual line stepper.
I can't even defend it. I mean that's true. It's fucking true.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
Yeah, I can't defend it.
Oh,
he was just mad ignorant.
It is. That's true. Whatever.
Ignorant.
So why would the commissioner say that it was okay to use that inhaler anyway?
They didn't. He was saying USADA approved. Doesn't mean that he's telling the truth. First of all,
no. He asked the commissioner. The commissioner said it was okay. That's why they had it in the corner.
I don't know. Probably because
I've heard multiple reports. I've heard that it wasn't a member of the commission. I've also heard that it was, and then they've just because they said it was okay doesn't mean it is, because that person was wrong. And I've heard they've either been let go or they're suspended for some reason. I've also heard that apparently, even though we know it's against the rules, that nowhere in the Massachusetts bylaws for the Massachusetts Commission does it say that you can't use an inhaler. So I've heard multiple things. Obviously, the team, Greg Hardy's team, is appealing it, which is just terrible. I hope it doesn't. I hope if anything, overturn it to a DQ loss.
Damn.
I thought it was innovative, man. I mean, I was excited.
Innovative, get the fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here.
Look, I was excited. I'm like, damn, UFC's about to be fucking lit. They're all gonna use inhalers.
Are you drinking or am I? What the fuck? Innovative.
I'm on the moon, bitch.
Oh shit. So I'm on the moon. Fucking hell.
So yeah, motherfucking. I thought it was innovative. I was excited. I swear to you guys. Until I found that it got overturned, I was like, that shit was lit.
You cannot bring one thing I don't want MMA to lose or martial arts in general is the honor aspect of it. Of going out on let me finish. Going out on your shield. Fighting till the bitter end, whatever.
Yes.
But what you can't do is bring the NFL mentality of if you're not what is it called if you ain't cheating you ain't trying.
They do say that in MMA.
And they say that in NFL a lot. If you ain't cheating you ain't trying. That's bullshit. That's straight up bullshit. Don't bring that into MMA. Keep that shit in the NFL. And I think that's what Greg Hardy's trying to do because he tried to slip that fucking knee in his first fight. Now he's doing his fucking inhaler shit. No, fuck that.
Every a little adversity, he looks for a fucking way out. That's why he threw the knee, and that's why he grabbed for the inhaler. He's looking for a fucking way out.
It's always a fucking scandal with this kid. Get him the fuck out of here, man. I don't need that shit.
I'm rooting for him.
That's why on my show, I said they need to give him to Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is going to wrestle fuck him, hit him with those nasty elbows, and he's either going to get cut up or shut up. That's it.
Right.
Look, I know that I know he don't got no Francis power, or you know what I mean, but Curtis Blades didn't do so good against Francis both times. Maybe what?
Keep going. I'm just
saying. Maybe come with the fucking power and scare the shit out and then catch him, dude.
Yeah, but Greg Hardy's got power, but he don't know how to direct it.
He'll direct it.
Yeah, I feel like Curtis Blades has beaten everyone that's not named Francis Ngannou. I mean, he just has his fucking number. And before the last fight, I mean, I feel like the last fight's so vivid in our minds because it was like 30 seconds. But even Curtis was complaining about the stoppage. The first fight, he made it to the second round, which at that point was the only person to ever take him out of the first round.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think that even Alexander Volkov, I don't even think that he is. He shouldn't be taking the fight with Hardy. You know what I mean? It's too low. But I guess he just wants to do that. And
well, it's in his hometown. He's been training for a fight. He's been out from a USADA violation. Like the man needs a payday. You know.
Yeah. So maybe they'll look the other way for both of them. Let them both cheat. Let him have his inhaler. But
plus, he's probably like, I've done worse.
Yeah, but I want to say this though: if you're saying that somebody can't use an inhaler, and you're saying that you want to keep it this way, that way, why even have a fucking round? Why even have rounds? Why not just have it one big fight then?
No, you need to rest. You need to take care of
your
cuts.
Some people need an inhaler to recover.
I kind of agree. I mean, I would advocate for no rounds. That's how I think. I think that the rounds make it more structured for like television. And it makes people reminiscent of boxing, but I feel like martial arts are not made for a round system. That's like point fighting. Like they need to be.
That would change the game, and I think it would be good.
But it is point fighting system because
that's what I'm saying.
You got the 10 must system, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The round system advocates for more points. You have people grabbing takedowns at the end of a round. You have people going for the takedown rather than actually going for a submission, just like top control. You know, there's not really. I mean, some people are like finishers more so, but I think the round system lends itself to point fighting more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not like I know I'm kind of alone in that, so I'm not trying to sit here and make a case for it. I'm not going to die on that hill. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's move on to this co-main event because we gave Greg Hardy enough fucking time.
All right. Well. We got our man. Damn, I keep hitting that. We got our man fucking Yair. I mean, our man Jeremy Stevens and that bitch ass fucking Yair Rodriguez looking like a bitch.
Yair whipped his ass.
No, the fuck he didn't.
Yair whipped
This is
his
where-
ass.
He half whooped his ass.
Okay.
His
Okay.
ass
This is
2 rounds, and then he got his ass whooped in the third, which is why I think a pick for their Mexico City card would have been accurate, because I feel like Jeremy was taking over at that point, and he would have won the 5-round fight. But I think, and actually, like last week on my show, I said that I was sticking with Jeremy, but then as soon as I won, so fuck you. After I put that show, you're flipping me off. I thought you were fucking whatever.
I'm posing.
I hate you. I hate you. After I put out that show, I was like, you know what? Yair is probably gonna win this fight, and I switched to Yair, which ended up being right.
smart move.
And that's-
Smart move.
Bullshit.
Now, I bring this up because I want to get this out before we go into a big ass tangent. Okay, you told me that the Macy Barber fight
Remember?
was stopped on time, right? And that person was not intelligently defending himself. So, in round 2, Yair whipped Jeremy Stevens' ass all the way down, whipped his ass. That fight should have been stopped in the second because Jeremy Stevens was not intelligently defending himself at all. At all.
I somewhat disagree. I get your point, and it's valid. I just think.
Don't get me with this LA liberal bullshit. Come on, be for real.
No, I'm keeping it real.
I got an argument, by the way, so I'll wait until you're done though. But I'm with you.
Here's the thing. I've said this before, and I don't think the refs actually take these things into account. But I think some of them say they do. Like a certain fighter's history, Jeremy fucking Stevens is tough as nails and has never shown himself to be like, quitting ever in a fight. So
except when he gets hit in the body.
Well, that's a way for him to put out, but I feel like he doesn't quit. I feel like he just covers up and tries to get through it, which is what happened. He got through it. And also, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
He
it was
got through it on a referee's discretion.
And he was able to answer the bell. And ultimately, look at what he did in the third round. So it proves that he was able to come back from it.
Well,
All right. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me say some stuff. I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said, Juice. I'm gonna tell you that the whole time that he was actually recovering from the kick to the stomach or whatever it was, he was changing positions and stuff. And DC pointed it out in his commentary. He was making sure that he was never going, in that wrong position. But here's the thing where I disagree with you, Juice, because he was fucking. He was taking way more damage than the woman. You know what I mean? So, like, even though he was, like, intelligently moving right, I feel like that fight should be stopped sooner than the Jillian Robertson, because I feel like Jillian Robertson was not taking nearly as much damage, so it was less dangerous.
So if the female fighters are judged the same as the male fighters, that fight should have been stopped in a second. But if they're judged different, then it's a different story. If you're saying that the females can take less damage than the males, I see your point, whatever. But if you're saying, and if you agree that the females and the males are judged and reffed equally, then that fight should have been stopped in a second.
Well, here's the thing. Ref to ref, regardless of gender, is different. And that's a problem anyway. The criteria is always a little bit different. It's always at their own discretion. I feel like this argument is only valid if it was the same ref. Because if the same ref thought the female's fight should be stopped, then the same ref should have the same energy or whatever towards the male fight. I get that, and that's a good point. I mean, it's a different argument as far as the amount of damage, because then you're talking about the relative punching power of Yair versus Macy Barber. I don't think that's a fair comparison, and I feel like
who they're hitting.
I'm talking about you could visibly see that Stevens was getting wobbled and getting marks on his face. Robertson was not getting wobbled. She was not having marks on her face.
Robertson never dropped. Stevenson dropped. Stevenson was on the ground.
The body kick, and then Yair was following up from top. Maybe I should rewatch the fight. I'm not,
You're not going to argue all night about it.
At this point, Jeremy made it through. They didn't stop the fight, and then he won the third round. So it's almost like, what it reminded me of? Bisping Silva. Bisping got dropped with a flying knee at the end of the third round. Looked like he was out, and then he came back and won the fourth round.
I was sweating watching that.
That's my favorite fight of all time.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was definitely.
And he did
fight.
it with one eye. So Jesus.
One eye, dude. Bisping's the GOAT. That's it. My hands are tied now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the main event, that was fucking ass.
Oh my God.
At least for me.
Nah.
He's still my boy.
The whole fucking week I was like, bro, I like Chris, but I don't think he's gonna fucking make it. And you're like, people fucking doubted me. Cheney's got my back. These people all pick Weidman too. You're fucking wrong.
When he picks a fighter though, he goes hard with it, don't he?
Look, I was excited for my boy Weidman.
No, like I said, I decided I'm gonna start doing this on my show because my whole fucking gimmick or whatever for these past few months before we started this championship I've been letting people know, like, look, I wear my bias on my sleeve. I pick with my heart. I don't give a fuck what you think. Now I'm gonna tell people when I make my picks, I'm gonna say this is who I want to win and this is who I think will win. Because I wanted Weidman to win. That would have been a great story. He's a fucking great guy. He's probably like in my top 10 or 15 of favorite fighters.
Why?
I don't know where, but
why? He has lost 5 of his last 6. Why is he a good fighter?
Well, first off, we can talk about those losses. I kind of broke this down already a little bit, and we can go for that. Him being my favorite has nothing to do whether or not he's a good fighter. I didn't say
he's a Jersey boy.
I didn't say. Well, first of all, he's from Long Island, so back to fuck up.
What's the difference?
Really? There's no fucking difference.
Get a fucking up with it.
Look at that. You get mad as shit. Long Island, Jersey, California.
County and DC. What's the difference between that?
Hey, what's the difference between Baltimore and anywhere else? We're better.
Oh shit! No, we got off track.
You.
What I was saying is, I like Weidman. I've always liked Weidman. He's a family man. He dethroned Anderson Silva. He was the shit for a while. I've just always liked his attitude and his grittiness, and just how honest he is in interviews, like even humble in losses. I feel like he's a role model in a sense, and that's good for martial arts. We need more of that in the world. So yeah, I want him to win in that sense because I want him to get a win and start the division right. But I didn't think that he was going to be able to get past Dominic Reyes. I thought the power was going to be too much, and turns out that was the case.
It's that fade back cross, dude.
Yeah,
that fade back cross is dangerous. I mean, he gets that with so many fucking people where he's running away and then wham! He reminds me of Chuck Liddell back in the day where he can knock you out running away.
It's almost because like his football background comes into play with that sort of like I think he was a safety, like that sort of like backwards and then stand and plant.
That's a big ass safety.
That's how Stipe knocked out Verdum. He was going backwards and he planted his feet and knocked the bitch out.
Damn, you call him a bitch?
Damn, he's a bitch now?
I like Verdum.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, son.
I love that face he does, dude. I wish I could do it.
Is it?
I don't know. It's so weird.
Oh, let me take a screenshot.
Laughing, it's like.
Oh, that's right there. That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail.
He looked like Dana Carvey and shit.
Oh shit!
Like Lena for the Turtle Club.
All right. So
it's 10:00 right now, by the way.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we can kind of wrap. I feel like unless y'all want to talk about something else in the news or anything like that, give my thoughts on anything because I already gave my picks and I don't want to give too much. I don't want to share my hand too much. Anyways, y'all gonna give your picks for the championship.
It's all right. That's all right. You can show your hand. I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me.
They can check out your podcast.
It's already out there, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can go to your podcast, Fight With Myself. And
Anchor,
listen to
your picks.
Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and all that shit.
Yeah, It's on everywhere you get your podcast, except for YouTube because I'm not an influencer, and I'm not on SoundCloud because I'm not an up-and-coming rapper. But anywhere else, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Castbox, Breaker, Overcast, TuneIn, all that shit. I'm on there.
Woo! Yeah,
Blow
and
your head off.
You just lied. We heard you rap.
Yeah, I heard.
Dum, dum, dum.
What was I rapping with? All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Nah, you did that.
You did the Eminem shit, the mom spaghetti shit. What
Oh,
was
I
it?
did. That's the long time ago. The Lose Yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
We heard you. We heard you.
Oh, real quick before you get out of here, what's your schedule? When does your episodes drop?
I put out episodes every Sunday. Because the whole idea when I started doing my show, I wanted to have like sort of like a post-fight kind of forum for MMA fans to go and kind of digest the fights and then share ideas and talk about the fight. So every Saturday night or every fight night. So in this case, this last one was on a Friday. I'll put out a little post, during the main event. I call it the forum. Say, hey, share me some questions. We'll talk about them. And then the next day I'll go and record. So Sunday morning I'm recording right after the fights, and then I'll edit it, put it out later that day, so that pretty much every Sunday we'll have a new episode of Fine with Myself.
Hell yeah! Well, we look forward to the next episode, and I mean it's Tuesday now, so by the time our listeners hear this, it'll be Thursday. But check out Juice on Sundays and probably Mondays when you guys would hear it.
Some people listen on Sundays.
Fighting With Myself podcast. It's out everywhere. It's a damn good podcast. We wouldn't be talking to you if it wasn't. And you're gonna get your ass whipped into Fighting My Pick Championship. I
What the fuck?
I can't wait for that because everybody here has gotten 1 week on top. I was the first.
I've never been on top.
You're on top right now. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm on top of accumulative little points. But yeah, I'm on top of every of the whole picks, but I never actually had a top picks of the week.
Right.
Which I want to get there.
Well, maybe one day when you grow up.
Listen, all I'm saying is we started this thing, buddy. You said that Ricky and I will be fighting last, and now we're tied for first, baby. So I'm sure as soon as I close this call, y'all gonna talk your shit, and I can't wait because I'm gonna listen on the playback. So go ahead.
Before you leave, can I ask you one question?
What?
If Roxanne is to fight soon, are you gonna pick her?
Yes, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't give a shit.
You ain't gonna do that week.
So dirty. Every week you work in one little dig at Roxanne, and then as soon as you do, you start a little laugh, a little and you say, "Fuck you, Juice." Fuck that, dude. I am reclaiming my throne as far as defending Roxy. I will defend her to the death, dude.
She's so athletic, yo. She's so athletic.
Never said that. I hate it.
Oh shit!
She's such a total nerd.
Super Saiyan Roxy for life.
Why is that funny?
It's even funnier that you don't get it. But yeah. Oh, and we accepted 2 new people. I don't know if they're gonna actually join in or not. But,
Yes.
I just want to put this out there before we can't take any more people.
Yes,
I was talking to everybody else, and it's like we already had a number that's set, and with these 2 new people, that's the set number that we had originally anyway.
Yeah.
Because we didn't full on go for everybody. Like we didn't ask around. We just picked a few. We let people reach out, but y'all didn't reach out until 3 weeks later. So we got the end list. We can't do any more. It's gonna be too much work and too much everything else. This is our list until next time.
Yeah, it's just going to be chaotic. But I got to say, that's a sign that we're doing the right thing. We're doing something people want to be involved in because we literally have people that are, not content creators or anything messaging me being like, I got to get in on this. And I'm like, oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people that I wish we could have involved, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you said, it's a set number at this point. But I'll let you guys go. It's been a pleasure. Like I said,
Thanks
talk
for
your
coming
shit,
on.
leave is fine. But you know, you're always welcome on my show, and I'm sure that we'll do this again.
The anchor.
Oh yeah. week 2 champ, everybody. Fighting with myself, Juice.
Hell yeah, 60 points.
That's what's up,
Not
man.
bad.
Good luck. Hope you lose terribly.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you do too, Ricky.
That's gonna be both you guys fighting for the
If I win,
last.
dude, you gotta stop wearing green for a month.
He always does wear green. We're like Christmas. I like wearing red.
Hey, I've rep my color, yo. I've rep my color. Look, it's green everything around here, yeah.
Got green highlighter and
Green
everything.
son.
All right, well, it's good
Green
to
pen.
that belt. That's fine.
I should put green on that belt just because.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All
We
right.
said goodbye
We
like
don't-
3 times in
much
this
longer.
one, so
All right, brother. Well,
See
you have a good night.
see you guys.
All right, see you.
You don't look like President, dude.